we've had a number of issues with the syncing process. So have I. So we gave up on using it. It happened a number of times, and we had to resync all the directories each time. Have you come across that often, and have you seen improvement on this front? Great question.
Yeah, great question. Often, no. Has it ever happened? Yes. I think it's probably happened to most of us. And in one of the other sessions, I'm going to see which one it might be. I don't know. We talk about the things to do to avoid that, and what to do if it just totally fails. Yeah, and so what I would Amy, and everybody, so if you've got one or two files, you might have to go to the file and again try and open it up and save it again, see if that corrects it. If it doesn't, open it up, save it with a different name. I've done that, so instead of Johnson Project, it's johnsonproject1.xls. That works. I know this is a pain, but it doesn't happen that often. That works. Sometimes I'll take it from my my synchronization area, right? And I'll just move it to my documents. I take it out of the sync environment, let the sync environment clear up, and then move it back, and then that usually works. Sometimes if you get a ton of problems, a ton, and I mean you've got issues in every other folder, and every other file, and you've got thousands of files. Then sometimes you have to do it's a do-over, what we referred to the last time we talked about this as the nuclear option. And Microsoft has a fix-it, a little, and if anybody has this problem, you want to send that question in. I'd be willing to send you back the information. It's a little. If you're not familiar with a fix-it, it's a button essentially that Microsoft puts out that's in your document, or you go to a web page actually, and there's a document that fix, or a button that says fix it, and it starts a process that will, in this case, it will erase everything in that sync area, shut all the services off, reload the services, and copy things back down from the cloud. Great. If your sync isn't working at all and you need it back, that's great. The bad news is it can take a long time. The more you have synchronized up to the cloud, the longer it's going to take to re-synchronize it back down. So it can be quite a process. It can run for hours depending on how much you have there. But that's the way around it. So is there an improvement? I've seen marginal improvement. I've become personally much more careful about shutting off my sync. For example, if I'm downloading updates, or if updates are downloading, I shut off the sync because, I don't want that conflict and stuff going back and forth. Something goes up and the changes down here on my laptop and it comes back down and it's not where it used to be. That could be a sync problem. So that's one thing. This new sync engine, this next-gen sync client, is in response to synchronization issues. I mean, there's no question about that. And it's new from the ground up. It works across works on Mac and PC. It works across platforms. So I think they've identified that the sync did not work as well as they had hoped. And it probably worked well in the lab, but once you get it out here in the field, you know what happens. And I think this next-gen sync client is meant to address that. Now, it's just being rolled out, as I mentioned. That's people are only using it if they're not synchronizing SharePoint. So the hard ones are not happening yet. I'm sure they're testing it. I'm not testing this one. I test a bunch of stuff, but I don't test this one. And so I'd say the jury, the final jury is out. But Microsoft has expressed a commitment to make it work with the new client. That's my answer.
Yeah, and I could tell you that, Amy, it could be that something, this is crazy, but like in my case, I was signed up for the early release program, and I got a feeling that might have been that I might have got the next-gen client for syncing, and that's why my SharePoint broke. It could, something like that, I think stuff like that happens, and that could break syncs in my experience.
And let me tell you one other suspicion I have, based on other things that happen. Like here, we think internet connectivity is, this continuous thing, and it's not. All right, so I'm in Connecticut, so I have Cablevision or Optimum, and if you're around here, everybody you know who that is. But I've been in other applications where I've been kicked out because my internet goes down. It just goes down for a second or two, and it comes back up. Most times you don't notice that, right? So if you're just working on emails, working on a document, the internet goes up and down, it doesn't really matter. But if you're in the middle of a sync, right? If there's a sync thing, if you're literally syncing a big document, I don't know what would happen if the internet goes down, right? So I think that's another possibility.
And I just saw this question from Rachel. This is amazing to me. I feel so much better now because I had this problem. She said, looking at my computer, it appears we have NextGen installed when we should not. That's exactly what happened to me, I think. Can you please share or direct me to instructions on how to uninstall NextGen?
Wow.
Yeah, Yeah, so we'll get that to you, Rachel. Fascinating stuff here.
See how valuable this is?